Hey guys, Drew here. So a few weeks ago I watched Kelly Ann Maddox's video where she did the grumpy witch tag. As I was watching her, I was thinking to myself that I really didn't have any good answers for those questions. But since then I've watched several other people do the grumpy witch tag, and as I watched the videos more and more, I realized I did actually have answers for the questions. So I decided to go ahead and do the grumpy witch tag myself. So question 1, do you have a least favorite time of the year magically? The easy answer is no, I don't, but I really dislike being cold. I can handle being chilly, but if it's really, really cold, I'm not a happy camper, I'm not comfortable, I don't want to do anything. So I'm not wanting to do magic, even if it's inside. If I am cold, it's not happening. But in general, any time of year is good for magic as far as I'm concerned. Question 2. Is there an herb that you don't like working with or never seems to work in your practice? Okay, I love herbs. I have a very large collection of herbs. I work with them regularly and I love working with them. Having said that, I have worked with many herbs that I was unable to develop a rapport with. Now, what I mean is, I can pick up mandrake, I can pick up lemon balm, I can pick up, my goodness, Irish moss, sage, tobacco, just a ton, basil, a ton of different herbs. And I understand how to use them. Even if I don't know what I want to use it for right off the top of my head as far as its associations or properties, I understand the quantity. I understand the potency. I can feel the herb. We have this sort of rapport. But there have been herbs I've tried to work with that this didn't occur. I just didn't, nothing happened. And so they just kind of fell by the wayside. And there's a ton of them, but just a short little, I tried devil's shoestring and couldn't connect. I tried myrtle, didn't work. Eyebright, peppermint, and burdock, just to name a few. I just couldn't work with them. It's not that they didn't work, it's just that we didn't vibe for some reason. I didn't get anything from them. So I don't see why bothering to work with them if I don't have an energetic connection of some sort, I guess. Question 3. Is there a stone or crystal that you don't like working with or never seems to add anything to your practice? I love crystals of all kinds. I have tons and tons of crystals. I wear crystals in my medicine bag at all times. Different crystals, I change them out depending on what I'm working on or what have you. But my house is full of crystals. I find them very beautiful, and to me they are my allies, they're my friends, they're my family. I love them. We have, like I was talking about with the herbs, but stronger, deeper, more meaningful for me. Having said that, there's this little guy here. This is, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show you guys. If you can see, this is tiger iron. So tiger iron is tiger's eye, jasper, and hematite, all in one specimen. And hematite is an iron oxide. Tiger iron just used to light me up. When I would touch it, it was like getting an electric shock through my system. It was literally painful. It was this way for a couple years, and oddly enough, later on I found out I was anemic. And I began taking iron supplements. And since then, I have not had a problem with tiger iron. Yeah, I didn't know I was anemic, so I can't say it's psychosomatic. Like, I don't know what it was. It's weird, but I'm good with it now. And I will say, there is still one stone that makes me uncomfortable. I do not like irradiated smoky quartz. When you take a piece of quartz or smoky quartz and you feed it radiation. Now, this is highly regulated, at least in America, because they are feeding radiation into the crystal, and it will therefore contain radiation. And if it emits a too high level, they won't let them sell it to the public. So if you were to buy a piece in America, it should be fine. But from other places or people who bring it in from other places, there's no telling. I just don't like the idea of it. It makes me uncomfortable. Anytime I have been around irradiated smoky quartz, it feels sick. It feels dead. I don't like it. The energy is just wrong, and it makes me really uncomfortable. So I do not own and will not work with irradiated smoky quartz. Number 4. Is there anything that bothers you about your deity or your practice? At present, no. But there has been, and I'm sure there will be again. I'm shaman. So for me, it's Great Spirit. But Great Spirit can come to me to work with me with different aspects of itself through personified deity. When I was young, I always understood there was something. I always knew something. And my family wasn't religious, so I would go to church with friends and I would interact with lots of, my culture is predominantly Christian, so that's where I went. And it was not right for me. And it was shown to me many, many, many times that that was the wrong path for me in many unpleasant ways. But Spirit likes to come to me sometimes in the form of Christian figures. And it always is kind of jarring. My immediate reaction is to shut down and just be like, nope, that's not happening. Don't know, no. The last time was so long ago and such an important part of my path that, to me, I've come to the point where I realize it doesn't matter what form Spirit takes to reach out to me and to work with me, that whatever aspect Spirit presents itself to me in at this point, I understand that there's something I need to learn there. There is a part, there's a lesson there for me, and it's valid and it's valuable for me on my path. So I just accept it. So I'd probably be okay today. But in the past, Spirit used to piss me off. So yeah, but I'm okay now. Number 5. What do you do when a spell doesn't work? I don't necessarily do anything. I just accept that it didn't work, and I trust that it didn't work for a reason. It wasn't time. It wasn't for the highest good, because I always work for the highest good. So obviously it wasn't in alignment with that. Having said that, if I'm being stubborn, it's a working I really want to do, then I may try again. I like working with the moon phases, the daily astrological influences, and even planetary hours. So let's say I was working a spell for health. And the first time I went with waxing for building health, went with Sunday because it rules physical health, and went with the Jupiter hour because it's about expansion. And that spell failed. I'd rethink it if it was something I really wanted to do, and I'd go the opposite way. And I'd go into the waning for decreasing illness. I might choose Thursday because it is a day of change. And maybe I'd choose the Saturn hour of that day because it rules endings. So I'd be working towards decreasing, ending the illness. That's probably how I would handle it personally. But again, most times I'm just going to let it go unless it's something that I really feel very strongly about. I figure Spirit knows better than me. Question 6. Have you ever done a meditation or astral work that did not work for you? I think everybody's answer to this question is going to be yes, of course. I personally have not delved deeply into astral. Maybe in the future. I've not been strongly pulled to it. I'm fascinated by it, but I just haven't really been pulled to it. But meditation, absolutely. I don't know how many times I've failed at meditating. I prefer personally to do shamanic journey with drumming in the background. I feel that when I go into journey, I go deeper than when I go into a meditation. I don't go quite as deep as being asleep, but it's in between sleep and meditation for me, and it works much better for me. Question 7. Is there an element that just doesn't work for you? Again, the answer for this is really no, but my weakest element would be fire. It's not that it doesn't work for me, and I use fire all the time. I do candle magic is one of my favorites. And I burn stuff in my cauldron or in our fire pit all the time. So it's one of my favorite elements to work with, but it is the one I'm weakest with. My connection to fire is the weakest. So it's something I need to work on. Question 8. How do you get out of a witchy rut? I haven't had many of those. The one that I've had was really deep and long. And for me, it was absolutely necessary. Sometimes I need to go into a cocoon and I need to just be. I need to exist and heal or rejuvenate or replenish, what have you. Something is going on that's more important than spellcraft and full moon ritual and things of that nature. Not that those things aren't important. It's that it needs to happen. There's a purpose and there's a time, there's a reason. And so typically I just kind of go with it and let it happen. When I was in my rut, I did try to pull myself out. The only thing I was able to do during that time was to make product, because my products are witchy in nature. That kept me connected, I guess. So I guess for me, it's just about keeping a very small level of connection without trying to force it. Because I did try to force it a few times. It was really uncomfortable and it was actually painful because it just made me feel bad that I wasn't able to get back into the swing of things. But eventually I was. When it was time, I 100% hit the ground running. And actually my practice is better than it ever was before. So I say, be gentle with yourself. Question 9 is, how do you deal with life getting in the way of your practice? It doesn't. I mean, my children are nearly grown. My husband is my partner in everything, including our spirituality. Yes, our paths are different, but we respect each other and we both practice ritual and witchcraft. So my job, I'm a stay-at-home wife and mother who runs a witchy shop from home, basically. For me, I'm very fortunate in that real life doesn't really get in the way of witchcraft. Even I needed to feed my spell on Thanksgiving, and my family is coming to my house for Thanksgiving, but I just did it before they got there. My candle was going the entire time they were here, but they didn't know. They didn't need to know. I'm fortunate that all areas of my life are in harmony, and I'm very grateful for that. There were times when they weren't. During those times, I feel like my practice was almost enhanced because it was that much more special, because it was something that had to not be worked for, but it took a little more effort. Whereas now I can just do whatever, whenever, wherever. There was a time where it was something that had to be, it just seemed more special in a way. Not that it was better, but so I think it's more about your attitude about your life and your practice and how they affect one another than it is about life getting in the way of your practice. Question 10, last question. When you have all of these negative feelings about your practice, what do you do? If I'm feeling negatively about my practice or myself and maybe I'm not doing everything I could or what have you, I honestly try to just accept it and kind of be loving toward myself and not be so harsh. I'm only human, and we have our times where we're not at our best. And I think beating myself up about it would only make it worse. So I just really try to be loving and understanding and realize that everything isn't always going to be perfect, and I just have to keep doing my best and keep trying to do better every day. So yeah, that's my video on the Grumpy Witch tag. If you haven't yet and you're into it, do the Grumpy Witch tag. I love to watch these kind of videos, and I hope you enjoyed watching mine. Until next time, much love and gratitude.